Sisho noSizwe sikaMthwakazi silamukela njalo kwesinye isiqephu sethu sezindaba kumsakazo we-Citizens Movement Radio. Namhla kungomvulo zili-12 kuZibandlela ngomnyaka ka-2026. Indaba lizethulelwa nguKhethiwe Chuma. Ngesikhangele indaba zethu esihamba phambili namhlanje. Umnangagwa usebe intokozo yabantu kusho uChibaya. Inhlanganiso zamatishala ziyakhuluma ngemva kokuvulwa kwezikolo. Ibandla eliphikisayo lithi kakuhlonitshwe amalungelo ezimpahla. Nanzi indaba zethu ngokugcweleyo. Umqoqi wezakhamizi umhlonitshwa u-Amos Chibaya usethe impilo isinzima kakhulu kuzakhamizi zaseZimbabwe ngaphansi kobuthungameli buka-Emmerson Mnangagwa obusa ngodlakela. Inkulumo yakhe iza ngemva kokuba ilizwe leZimbabwe liye lafakwa endaweni ye-10 kumazwe angalantokozo umhlaba wonke jikelele. Umhlonitshwa uChibaya uthi indlela yokuphila iyadula kakhulu ngaphansi kobuthungameli bukaMnangagwa, kanti njalo usekhale kakhulu ngokuncindezelwa kwamalungelo abantu kwele Zimbabwe. Ake sizweni umhlonitshwa uChibaya ekhuluma.
Life in Zimbabwe has become difficult with basic needs like food, school fees, and utilities increasingly out of reach due to economic mismanagement by the regime. Closure of democratic space, restrictions on freedom of expression, political participation, and the repression of dissenting voices. The regime uses intimidation and legal action to deter political activism rather than protect constitutional rights. We have governance crisis in the country as a result of rigged elections. We need a citizen government elected by the citizens. Our struggle is not a partisan contest, but a broader fight for democratic rights and socio-economic relief for ordinary citizens. And the struggle for change must come from the ground in our communities, grassroots mobilization, and unity amongst citizens.
Izikolo zivuliwe namhlanje ukuba ziqale ihlandla lokuqala kumnyaka ka-2026 iloba kulokukhathazeka kuvela ematitsheni kanye lenhlanganiso zabo ngokunakekelwa kwamatitshala. Uhulumende uye wamemezela emalangeni edlulileyo ukuba uhlose ukuba aqhashe amatitshala angaphezu kwe3,000 ukuze kube lobudlelwano obungcono phakathi kwabafundi lamatitshala ngomnyaka ka-2026. Inhlanganiso ye-Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe isixwayise ukuba abafundi abaningi bayaphuma ezikolweni ngenxa yodubo abahlangana lalo emakhaya. Siye saxoxisana lonobhala jikelele wenhlanganiso ye-Achuz uMnyaradzi Masiyiwa osinikeze imininingwana mayelana ngalokho okwenzakalayo ezikolo ngosuku lokuqala kokuvula kwezikolo. Ake simzweni ekhuluma.
The education sector is facing serious challenges. Out of all the challenges, number one is the welfare of the teacher. Teachers are not being paid enough money to take them or to last for a month with the family. We also realized that the government has promised to recruit about 3,000 new teachers in our schools, but we emphasize that there is a need to make sure that the welfare of the teacher is put at a point, at bullet number one. The government must pay teachers well. The government must look into the welfare of the teachers so that we correct a lot of challenges that we are facing in the education sector. We also urge the government to fund education. Right now, we have a lot of private schools that are mushrooming, and these private schools are offering better education and are only accessible to learners from a better background, leaving our learners from poor background in the hands of public schools, which are not well resourced, which are being attended to by a teacher who is seriously demoralized and incapacitated. A number of teachers today were not able to attend to their lessons simply because they are hungry, simply because back home their kids do not have fees. They are not able to send their kids to the next private college which is offering a better and quality education.
Ibandla eliphikisayo selitheka kuhlonitshwa amalungelo empahla elizweni ukuze kudonswe abantu abazakuletha imali elizweni ngokuqotho. Lokhu kuza ngemva kokuba omunye usomabhizinisi oletha imali elizweni uTerry William Kelly elahlekelwe indawo yakhe yaziwa ngokuthi iCheore Lodges le abeseyisebenzele imali ebiza izigidi lezigidi ngemva kokuba inkantolo ephakemeyo ithe akwesulwe isivumelwano sakhe sokusebenzisa le indawo ngemva kweminyaka engama-25. Lo ongungqongqoshe wemali kubandla eliphikisayo kanti njalo ililunga ledale lephalamende umhlonitshwa uKopani Matsebanyika uthe ilizwe kumele lihloniphe amalungelo empahla ukuze libe lesiqinisekiso ukuba abaletha imali baza kuyiletha elizweni. Ake sizweni umhlonitshwa uMatsebanyika ekhuluma.
The blatant abuse and the blatant failure to respect property rights in Zimbabwe has gone to unprecedented levels in the work of the recent Terry William Kelly, a 73-year-old Zimbabwean citizen, a white Zimbabwean citizen, who has lost his property. And to be honest, to be specific, he has lost a property called Cheore Lodge, which is a safari lodge, which is being operated in the Zambezi Valley escarpment there. So this man, this white Zimbabwean, has run that lodge or safari lodge for about 25 years now. And the paper which was necessary for him to run that lodge was a lease agreement, which was issued by the government of Zimbabwe. And that lease agreement, to be specific, was signed by Opam Chinguri, who was the former minister for that particular ministry, for the responsible ministry which issued that license. There was also, since this safari lodge operates in a game park, there was also authorization from Zimpax, the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management. They authorized and they collected the rent from the operation of that lodge. So Cheore Lodge operated for 25 good years, and there was no problem. Each year, government would renew the lease. Government would renew the lease for 25 years. But only recently, it boggles the mind when you see the owner of this lodge being dragged to court over the ownership of that lodge. Surprisingly, and to make matters worse, to make it more surprising, is that when they went to court up to the Supreme Court, only yesterday, the Supreme Court dismissed the Terry Williams application, saying that the license or the lease agreement is not valid. Imagine how can they say the lease agreement is not valid when it has been signed by the former minister Opam Chinguri? And to make matters worse, Zimpax weighed in on this issue again to say they are aware that this document, this lease document, originated from the official sources of government or from official corridors of government. So to me, this is a classic example of failure to respect property rights in this country, which have been complaining over and over again. And it is an issue that deters investment. No reasonable investor would want to invest in a country where they can lose their property overnight. It is a classic example of all the property that has been lost in this country by investors, the property which has been lost by intervention from ZANU-PF members. This is a clear indication that there is a clear allegation that Kuda Gray wants that lodge. And as such, they actually collided or colluded with our judicial system to ensure that Terry William Kelly lost the case so that they can take over that lodge. So, by and large, it is very clear that the right to own, the right to use, the right to dispose an asset in Zimbabwe has been seriously and fundamentally compromised under the circumstances. Because if you invest in Zimbabwe today, people who are from other political parties, they can abuse that, although they can abuse the court process to get that property out of their hands for nothing. Imagine after investing in Zimbabwe and working in Zimbabwe for more than 25 years, You have now been dispossessed of your property without compensation. This is a direct sanction on the people of Zimbabwe. There is no sanction which is more than this sanction. So we cannot continue to wail and cry for investments, yet we chase away the current investments. Everyone who sees this kind of trend, this kind of behavior, will feel insecure to bring their capital to Zimbabwe. No one will want to bring their capital to Zimbabwe when they will be dispossessed of their capital willy-nilly by arbitrary collusion between the courts and the ZANU-PF.
Induna uMourinho wehlulekile njalo ukuvimba ukuba isikolo esisesabelweni sakhe sivulwe ngemva kokuba uhulumende ebaphe imvumo yokuba lesi sikolo siqhubeke sisebenza iloba umnikazi wesikolo kanye lohulumende bevuma ukuba amaphepha abo awakho esimeni esiqondileyo. Ake sizweni undina uMourinho ekhuluma mayelana ngokwakhiwa kwalesi sikolo ngokungekho emthethweni.
In the first instance, there is no school called the Riverton Academy Mourinho Extension because it has not been established in terms of the laws of the country. Firstly, a due process was not followed. All what I know is that an application was made to council, and that application is not yet been completed. And as a matter of fact, I sit at the top of the administrative point of the Mourinho communities, and I authorize any developmental project that takes place in the area. I'm the chief. I'm not anti-development, but what is fundamental is that anybody who wants to come and invest should do so within the ambits of the law. You cannot just come and then allocate yourself a piece of land in the grasslands, like Mr. Mtangiri has done, and then develop that piece for your personal aggrandizement at the expense of poor villagers. So that is the reason why we ended up blocking, because we tried to engage with him for several occasions. But because he was adamant, he went on, he proceeded to build the school against our advice. There is no license given by the Ministry of Education to authorize that school at the moment. It's an illegal school. But when we tried to engage with him, he became arrogant. And then we decided to block the road to the school. I was not aware for a very long time until the school was at a very advanced stage. He had bribed two of my village heads. He had promised them whatever he promised them. And he made them write up to say, we are giving you 30 hectares of land in their villages. Villages that are already congested by villagers. That's the reason why I summoned them, including the headmen. I fined them, headmen Clemens Mukami, 3 heads of cattle as a result of that issue. I fined each one of the village heads 1 head of cattle because I couldn't. Okay, it was an act of misconduct in the first instance, but I realized it was a first act of misconduct, and then I decided to fine them instead of firing them, right? And now when it comes to the school is charging $800 a child. No child from Mourinho communities can afford that kind of fees. If they cannot afford $48 at a primary school, how could they afford $800? Or even if he says $150, nobody can afford that school. So it is personal property that he has apportioned himself from communal land without the authorization of myself and my lieutenants as traditional leaders. Now, I ended up removing my blockage because the minister the resident minister called me and said, could you kindly allow the children to proceed so that if the school is illegal, we will then request the ministry to close it officially because it is not registered. That's when I complied. I came here to have a meeting with the minister in terms of the constitution, which is the supreme law of the country. Section 283 says the chief, while seeing the performance of his duties, is not under the authority of anybody. He carries out his decisions, independently. And this is exactly what I did, because I did to protect my communities. I didn't violate any law. If Mtangiri wants a place to build a school, he can come properly, we go together and find the right place where he can build a school. This idea of demonizing me throughout the nation, through social media, is a non-starter. He hurled insults at me, but I don't utter a single vulgar word from my mouth. But this is exactly what he did. But I'm not worried about that. He is my son. What I could probably allow is to allow them to learn for a while whilst he is relocating his school to a place that we will then identify for him. Because we don't have to bless any illegality. We cannot do that. Many people actually end up doing wrong things, hoping that at the end of the day, people will just say, it has been done already. Let them just proceed. It has happened even in housing. Land barons take land illegally. settle people there. And at the end of the day, you hear people saying, no, just sympathize with the people who are building because they were also given.
Izolo uhulumende umemezele ukwehliswa kwentengo yokubhalisa izimota ngomnyaka ka-2026 kodwa abachothozayo bathi intengo le ilokhu isasephezulu njalo izakhamizi kaziyenelisi. Omunye wesiphathamandla kubandla eliphikisayo uSam Gondongwe uthi imithelo le iphezulu kakhulu nxa kunanzelelwa ukuba abasebenzi bakahulumende bahola imali ephansi kakhulu kanti njalo bazehluleka ukuba babhadalele izimota zabo kanye lenombolo zezimota zabo ezibiza imali engange-95 edoleni leMelika. Ake sizweni uGondongwe ekhuluma.
Remember, in Zimbabwe, civil servants and most of the ordinary people, they earn less than $300 a month, and they've got a family to look after. They've got children to take to schools, the schools that are also charging exorbitant fees. And we also need food on the table. And yet the government is still burdens us with a lot of taxes that are just announced at every juncture. These taxes and fees that are charged on ordinary citizens must be reduced to at least less than $20 just to cater for the ordinary people of this nation until and when the people are getting a little bit of reasonable salaries, then the taxes can be upgraded. But for now, it is absurd for the government to then charge those fees for registration of cars, the change of ownership and all. Instead, they should reduce them to a minimal fee, just a minimal fee. Because if you look at what is happening right now, the roads, our roads in Zimbabwe, yet at every toll gate you are obliged to pay at toll gates. But the roads there at the toll gate, there are dishwars. You wonder what is the money that we are giving them, what is the use of the money that we are giving them, yet every road in Zimbabwe is like a fish pond. So these fees should be scrapped, and the government should look at the plight of the citizens of this nation when they are coming up with such fees, and really consider the plight of the nation, because it is not everyone who is dealing in gold who can be able to pay such fees. Thank you.
Undunankulu kubahluleli uLuke Malaba uye wavula ngokusemthethweni ukuthonisiswa kwamacala komnyaka ka-2026 izolo iloba kule nkulumo ngodaba lwakhe lokuthatha umhlalaphansi. Umahluleli uMalaba ufikisa iminyaka engama-75 enyangeni ezintathu ezizayo kanti le iminyaka yiyo eyafakwa ngomnyaka ka-2021 ukuze kumvumele ukuba asebenze aze edlulise iminyaka engama-70. uMalaba ukhangelelwe ukuba ungomunye wabantu abancedisa u-Emmerson Mnangagwa ukuba ahlale embusweni kuze kwedlule isikhathi leso esivunywa isisekelo sombuso samahlandla amabili. Izakhamizi zaseChipinge South zilokukhonona kakhulu ngumsebenzi wekhansilini esabelweni sabo uLeonard Mlambo ohlala eMabe, lo osolwa ngokuba uyathatha uncedo oluvela kuhulumende olokudla kanye lokuncedisa okokulima okumele kuncedise izakhamizi abese kuthengisa. Lokhu kusho ukuba izakhamizi nxa sezitshelwa ukuba zizothatha lezo zinto bafica sekuthengisiwe. Izakhamizi zakuleyo ndawo sezithe uMlambo kasuswe kuleso sabelo kubiswe omunye umuntu. Ake sizweni omunye wabo ekhuluma.
Kuno kwaMabi tanetseka ndi mudhumeni wedu. Zvinhu zvose zvinouya zvinenge zvichifanirwa kupuwa vanhu. Tinosvika zuva rokuhora pasisina. Kana tava kumubvunza anoti tapa mamwe mavhileji asi achinyepa. Kuswera zuro akati tuye tihore fertilizer kwaChamukwakwa. Patakasvika akati yapera. Mubvunzo wedu yapera sei. Isu takadanwa kuti tipiwe. Uye zvinhu izvi zvagara zvinoitika nguva dzose kuno kwaMabi. Mudhumeni Leonard Mlambo ndiye ari kutibira kuno. Dai munhu ambobviswa kuno pamwe zvingaita nani. Tapota vana Mutapi, tibatsireiwo dambudziko iri naMP Hlachwayo, tibatsireiwo apa.
Sisasekwe lechipinge izakhamizi ezibhadala imithelo ziyasola kakhulu ikhansili kanye lohulumende ngokwehluleka ukulungisa imigwaqo kuleyo ndawo. Bathi imigwaqo emikhulu ehlanganisa iZimbabwe kanye leMozambique isiyindawo eyingozi kakhulu ikakhulu ngesikhathi sezulu. Bathi lokhu kuyabavimba ukuba bathole usizo oluphuthumayo kwezempilakahle kanti njalo bayehluleka ukufika ngesikhathi. Okunye njalo abasenelisi ukuba bayethenga ukudla lezinye izinto eziqakathekileyo. Izulu eline ngamandla eHarare kanye leChitungwiza seliveze ukubola okukhona ekhansilini ngokwehluleka ukulungisa imigwaqo kanye lemigelo yokuhambisa amanzi. Labo abatshontsha umhlaba abasebenzisana lebandla leZANU-PF labo sebesolwe kakhulu ngokunikeza umhlaba ebantwini endaweni ezimanzi lapho kungamelanga khona kwakhiwe ngoba zizindawo ezithandwa yizikhukhula ngesikhathi sezulu. Umthungameli webandla eliphikisayo kwele Uganda uRobert Sentamu Kyagulanyi, lo owaziwa ngokuthi nguBobi Wine, usekhuthaze abantu abasha elizweni lakhe ukuba basukume ngobuningi babo bayevota kanti njalo bavikele amavoti abo ekwebiweni. Ilizwe lase-Uganda likhangelelwe ukuya okhethweni ngoLwesine. Kungxoxo yakhe abelayo le-CNN izolo, uBobi Wine uthi ulesiqiniseko sokuba ibandla lakhe le-NUP liza kuphumelela kanti njalo uye wathi ukhangelele ukuba uMuseveni azame ukuyeba ukhetho. Ake sizwe eyinye ingxenye yengxoxo yabo.
For us to challenge the authoritarian ruler again and again and again until we eventually get our freedom. Because not challenging him means giving up. Yes, we know that all odds are up against us, the military, the police, and all institutions of state. But also it is clear that the people of Uganda are standing firmly behind the forces of change that I am leading. So we are challenging Museveni first and foremost to remove any iota of doubt to the world, especially in the international community, and to remove all the pseudo-legitimacy that lies the international community with, and therefore the people of Uganda will be able to fight for their rights while the world will stand with them. That is why we're running again.
In 2021, you contested the results. You talked about the fact that the results were essentially all but guaranteed, that the voting was rigged. You contested the results, but obviously it didn't lead to any meaningful outcome. Talk to us about what you have learned this time around. What are some of the lessons that you learned from the last time you ran back in 2021? I remember interviewing you then. What lessons have you learned from then that you're applying now, Bobby?
First and foremost, we've learned that dictators might not go with the first or second or third push, but eventually they fall if we don't give up. We have learned that we have to devise various means of communication, but most importantly, we've learned that we have to send back the responsibility to the population. In the previous election, I was under house arrest immediately after casting my ballot, which I expect the same thing now. As we speak right now, more than 730 of our colleagues are in detention. They've been arrested. Many are abducted and are missing. Some are being killed, but we are pushing on. But again, this time, we don't anchor it on an individual. We don't anchor it on myself. Yes, I'm the presidential candidate. Yes, I'm the leader. But we have tasked the people of Uganda to take charge of the campaign, to take charge of the voting, of the vote protection, but most importantly, in case Museveni rigs the election, like all signs are showing, the people of Uganda must rise up and demand for their victory.
What message do you have for young Ugandans who feel disillusioned about politics? I mean, we've seen in neighboring Tanzania, for example, just a few months ago, that election was also widely contested, and there was a massive crackdown as well on opposition voices as well. Just talk to us about how young Ugandans who feel disillusioned about politics, who feel that this time the vote is all but certain and that it is rigged, how do they stand up for peaceful and democratic change in your country?
To the young Ugandans, we've constantly told them that democracy works. But democracy only works when people stand firm and defend it. Therefore, we would have opted for violent means, but we don't believe in violence. Violence has never gotten nations anywhere. We believe in voting firmly and outstandingly many, and then defend that election, defend that victory. We've called upon the people of Uganda to exercise their constitutional right. Our constitution, Article 29, provides that the people of Uganda can peacefully, unarmed, protest any wrongdoing. And that is what we're calling upon the people of Uganda in case General Museveni wins the election this time.
Obviously, campaigning, Bobby, is very different from governing. Just in terms of your plans, I mean, what can you share with us? If you ever were to reach the top job in Uganda, what would you share? What can you share about your plans in terms of tackling the economic hardship that has plagued the young people of Uganda, in terms of tackling corruption, which is obviously a massive issue as well, in terms of uniting Ugandans across ethnic lines? What would be your priority, Bobby, from day one?
Thank you. The issue of leading our country is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when, because we are confident. We've seen that all across the country, and we are sure that the people of Uganda will entrust the next generation with the leadership. Back in the day, our problems were three: ignorance, disease, and poverty. But now our problem can squarely be circled into one: corruption. Massive corruption, which has been institutionalized, which has been turned into a currency and as a way of living and a way of staying in power. We want to crack down on that corruption when we take power. But most importantly, we also want to re-empower the institutions of states, and end the state capture, ensure that the judiciary and the legislature are independent and can check the executive. That way, we will be able to stop the one-man rule and have knowledgeable, talented, and able people to bring minds together and lead our country ahead.
Bobby Wine, live for us there. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Iqembu laseSpanish iReal Madrid selimemezele ukuba selehlukene lomqeqeshi wabo njalo lo wayengumdlali wabo uXabi Alonso. U-Alonso ushiya eMadrid ngemva kokuthatha intambo enyangeni eziyikhombisa ezedlulileyo. Iqembu leli lisezingeni lesibili kuLa Liga kanti basezingeni lesikhombisa emidlalweni ye-UEFA Champions League. Lo owayedlalela iReal Madrid u-Alvaro Arbeloa nguye osekhangelelwe ukuba athathe intambo zokuba ngumqeqeshi omutsha. Emidlalweni ye-FA Cup kuhlandla lesithathu emidlalweni odlalwe izolo kusihlwa, iLiverpool iye yanqoba iBarnsley 4-1. Sebeza kudlala leBrighton kuhlandla lesine bedlalela ekhaya. Kusenjalo emidlalweni yeCarabao semi-final first leg eza kudlalwa namhlanje kusihlwa, iChelsea iza kubhekana leArsenal enkundleni yeStamford Bridge. Ukuziphetha lezi ndaba kumsakazo weCitizens Movement Radio, nanze bezihamba phambili. Umnangagwa webe injabulo yabantu kusho uChibaya. Inhlanganiso zamatitshala ziyakhuluma ngemva kokuvulwa kwezikolo. Ibandla eliphikisayo lithi kakuhlonitshwe amalungelo empahla. Siziphetha lapha lezi ndaba.